Gian, this game was never close. Gonzaga built a 20-point lead before Georgia had two baskets in this game. I think it was 27 to 3 at one point, and from that point on, Gonzaga was essentially in cruise control. Ended up 89-68 in favor of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. So the Georgia Bulldogs. What allowed Gonzaga to just dominate this game? Not just win, but dominate from the opening tip.
Guard play. Georgia's guards were food, man.
Yeah.
Georgia's guards just didn't stand a chance. I hate to say that because it's the other Nemhart that's on Gonzaga, and not the real Nemhart. But
He only
I
took
mean,
three shots.
huh?
It was a perfect Ryan Nembhard game. He had 3 points on three shots, but eight assists and operated everything perfectly.
Yeah, and he played great defense too.
Yeah.
To me, it felt like Georgia couldn't get anything going, and that was because they couldn't get into their sets. And Gonzaga did a great job taking them out of their game plan, keeping them out of their game plan too. This game never really got close. I want to say like the closest I remember it being might have been like 43-35 or 43-25, like an 18-point lead. Gonzaga didn't let off the gas. They looked very locked in. It's gonna be one of those moments where we're looking at Gonzaga like, what would have happened if they just got like a 7 instead of an 8, or like a 9 or like a 10 instead of an 8? Like,
Yeah.
is this seeding where they have to play Houston in the second round actually going to be like their demise? Like, where it's just like the best version of Gonzaga, it might actually be phenomenal, but they're going to go up against one of the three best teams in the country.
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal game. We have a full preview for that game on the channel, so check that out. We'll dive more into that matchup fully in that. It's the first NCAA tournament game between teams that have made the Sweet 16 five more years in a row. First
Really?
ever. Houston's made it five in a row. Gonzaga's made it nine. Um, so that'll be a lot of fun. This was the Gonzaga team I think we expected to see all year long. That we really didn't see. Whenever they got in big games, they would get close and they would lose close games. You can go down the list in non-conference. There was the UCLA game, the Kentucky game, various opportunities they had to pick up some significant wins and they couldn't do it. They didn't even let it get to a question in this one. Like from the jump, they took control and played like the Ken Palm top 10 team, the team that was top 5 or top 10 in the preseason, depending on which poll or rankings you looked at.
Mhm.
Do you expect them to look like this moving forward, whether it is just against Houston or beyond that? Do you expect that like this is who Gonzaga is now that it's tournament time? We've seen them do it for damn near a decade.
Well, so I think I think the problem is that even if they do this against Houston, I'm not sure what that means. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just not sure it means anything. Like, I does the I mean, we'll talk about it in the preview. I do believe they can replicate this performance. Do I think it matters? I don't know. That's how good Houston is. That's not a knock on Gonzaga. That's what I mean by like, did them getting an 8 seed really ruin them out of a run? Like, how many teams in this bracket are better than this Gonzaga team that showed up today? And it
Mhm.
really might just be the 1 seeds. Like, they literally
Yeah.
might have smoke for everybody else besides the 1 seeds. And I think just the location they're in might be their demise. But I do believe they'll play like this again on Saturday. I definitely have to eat some crow. I was very off on this Gonzaga team. They played phenomenal. I think I'll probably have to continue to eat crow a little bit on this Gonzaga team Saturday, but we'll see what happens. That's a pretty big mountain they're gonna have to climb.
Whenever Nolan Hickman and Caliph Battle combine for nine made threes, like that's a good recipe for Gonzaga. I think you're winning that game. One of the reasons you were high on Georgia coming into this game was Asa Newell, projected first round pick in the NBA draft. Phenomenal player, phenomenal talent. He had 20 and 8 in this game. He was
Mhm.
great. He was really good. He met the challenge. As you mentioned, the guards did not. Nobody else for Georgia really did. What went wrong for them? Like why weren't the guards able to get going? Why was there no help available for Newell? Was it just a matter of they were shell shocked early? Because I think there was a little bit of that where they were not ready to play.
Yeah, it's just ball pressure, man. I just feel like Gonzaga was the more physical team. I feel like that Gonzaga really like punished this Georgia backcourt specifically, and didn't allow them to get comfortable, and they're just more talented.
Mm.
And I think the reality is the difference between Gonzaga's backcourt and Georgia's was a higher difference than maybe Georgia's front court and Gonzaga's. Like you mentioned, Ace Newell is an NBA guy. I don't know if I necessarily believe Graham Ike is, but Graham Ike is a phenomenal college player.
Yeah.
The difference between a phenomenal college basketball player and an NBA guy is probably fairly stark, but it's a lot closer than a good college player in Ryan Nembhard and some guys that are on Georgia in that backcourt. So I just feel like Gonzaga's backcourt just really punished these dudes.
We did this with Houston, so we have to do it with Gonzaga as well. Dominant performance, fantastic. There's nothing like really legitimately negative you can say.
Hmm.
But if you're going to nitpick, is there anything you can nitpick?
I mean, well, Asa Newell kind of got whatever he wanted. How many bigs are better than Asa Newell in the country? I don't know, but Jawan Roberts might be.
Hmm. Yeah.
So if we'll nitpick, I think just like I said, I do believe that Asa Newell kind of got whatever he wanted.
Yeah, Georgia outscored Gonzaga in the paint 32 to 28. The Zags won the rebounding battle. But that's something. Gonzaga also committed 23 fouls in this game. And now, this game was over 8 minutes in.
Hmm.
So you take all of that with a grain of salt. But Houston is a team that will play physical, will make you foul, and will want to beat you inside. I think that's something potentially for Gonzaga you may have to worry about, but if you're going to shoot 60% from three again, maybe not.
It is March, and that means that March Madness is upon us. And if you are looking for a place to play, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Sign up and deposit using code SLEEPERS, that's code SLEEPERS, to receive up to $1,000 in bonus credit plus a free pick. Head over to Underdog Fantasy today and use promo code SLEEPERS to take advantage of this amazing offer.